am Melissa from SoGoSurvey, and I am delighted to be able to welcome you to a quick peek at our latest release, version 28.0. Great news, obviously. If you're talking about this, you're looking at this, you're thinking about it, 28.0 is just around the corner. You might already be watching this when it's live. When this release goes live, it automatically updates across all of our account types, and you will see updates in every package type, every product, and of course there are always more details in our user guide. Today we're just highlighting a few quick things across different modules and across different products, just to give you a taste of what's to come. Of course, because it's a recording, we can't take your questions directly, but we'd love to be able to follow up with you if you attend a live session or schedule a support call within your account to talk about something specific that you're interested in. Let's get started. Within the design module, we know this is one of the most important parts of the platform for you. We've got two quick things to highlight here. One of them, the first one that you're seeing there, that signature question type. This is something that we've been hearing about for a while, and we're very excited to be able to bring it to you now. So imagine the use case, of course, you'd like someone to be able to confirm that they agree or they acknowledge, whatever it is, keep it official. This signature question type allows you to accept signatures by scribbling, depending on how good their online penmanship is, by uploading an image or by typing directly. And in that case, if they choose to type as well, they'll be able to change the style too. So it looks a lot more official. Great idea to set this as mandatory, of course, and participants will be asked to click Save to confirm, just to make sure they're satisfied with what they're submitting. Another one is rules and alerts workflows. For those of you who have rules and alerts in your account, you will know that this is a great way to automate follow-up. So in addition now to automating, for example, raise a dialogue if you're using SoGo Connect, rules and alerts, not just sending an email alert anymore now, but also additionally thinking about HTTP targets and pushing data into Salesforce, bringing that into part of the same flow, something that happens automatically when a response is received. So great functionality, just bringing it tighter and closer together under rules and alerts. Moving over to distribution, a few options to think about. One of them is reopening all project types. So previously, reopening a project, this means the participant has just submitted and they realize they made a mistake, or there's something that they want to go back and check. They didn't realize they were so close to the end. Now we're allowing this in all project types, so that will enable the survey administrator to perhaps reopen that project, survey or assessment in that case, and it'll make it easier for the participant to be able to reach out. So you'll see that on the thank you page and in Track as well. An additional option that we're looking at rolling out here is worldwide SMS. So we've already had, of course, SMS within specific regions, but here we're expanding it. So if you're interested in expanding more usage of SMS from within your account, check in with your account manager and find out what might be available in your area as well. It's a big world, so we know we want to be able to connect with our audience, your audience, wherever they may be. Another really exciting one too is the ability to update contact lists from external sources. So we've already been working with this a little bit in the area of SFTP, that's Secure File Transfer Protocol servers, but we're also integrating this now here with Salesforce as well, the ability to update a contact list. So the thought process here, of course, is not just it's only uploading one file at a time, but it might be pulling in some of those responses, pulling in some of those contacts that might be updated for you in those external sources as well. So the goal is to simplify your processes and workflows by turning one update in one place into an update within our platform as well. Moving into reports, lots to say about reports, of course. A few things I've pulled out here separately. One of them just deserves its own mention. We've had so much excitement about PDF downloads. So those of you who have been excited about Excel and PowerPoint in the past, of course, too, PDF is a beautiful way to package your Omni report, make sure that it's not going to be modified by anyone, and it's a clean and simple way to be able to share a file with others, of course. So you'll see that export option available within Omni now. Cross-tabulation report, the cross-tab here, is moved, and you can see sort of one of the reasons in here that we've moved this under legacy reports is that crosstab is also available in Omni now. So if you're looking at it from that existing cross-tabulation, You'll see that it's still there, it's just under legacy, but also we'd encourage you to check out Crosstab. That's available within Omni as well. I've also mentioned engagement. You'll see some textual changes and updates, modifications, new and improved ways of looking at your engagement reports as you download them to simplify your review of key drivers and be able to understand the dimensions those drivers belong to as well. Score in Omni deserves its own slide, if not more than one, of course. I've pulled out a few of those items here today. One of them is really focused on assessment. So if you've been organizing your content in an assessment by category, that is to say all of these questions belong in this category, category A or category B, category C, because you're using them in scoring to see, for example, how did people do in one category versus another. In my example here, you can see my categories are more around the sort of engagement kind of questions about character, leadership, for example, or any other similar categories that you would like to use, depending on your project type, of course. So within SCORE, you know that you have the option to be able to give an overall score, use individual question scores, or group question scores. Now, grouping question scores, you can see on the right-hand side here, group questions by assessment category, rather than picking and choosing all of those same questions that belong to a specific category. Now, if it's an assessment, you've already set up those categories in design, here you'll have the option to simply apply those category groupings in your grouped question scores. It's a huge time saver. Underneath that as well too, you can see split sub-questions. That's another option as well here too. So within SCORE, the ability to split grids into sub-questions, perfect because you have multiple ways to look at SCORE, not just the overall dimension or category, for example, but each of the constituent questions below. And finally, too, the last one on this slide is sorting within scores. So we know that you have a lot of different ways that you want to apply scores and also display it as well. So you'll see SCORE, again, front and center at the top of your Omni report. When you're just looking at that first tab, you'll see it's got that big star. But once you've applied SCORE with that menu that we see on the bottom half of the screen, remember that you also have additional options to be able to modify it. And now that means sorting by. So sort groups by, in this example, highest to lowest. Is it critical? No, but it makes your data look a lot easier to read and a lot cleaner for your participants and audience as well. An additional few points on Omni, really building up on the 360 use cases with a lot of functionality in this release. So in the last release, you probably recall report level segmentation was something we were very excited about as well. Here we're additionally giving some additional power to segmentation with conditional data display. So in this case, for example, you can see this is a 360 example where I'm looking for hidden strengths. So here's my ratings of myself and my ratings by my manager or peers. So in this case, I want to display only those categories, only those groups in which I've received a higher rating from others than I've given myself. It's kind of hidden strengths or blind spots or show the top 3. All of these different kinds of conditional data displays are extremely useful to many of our clients in 360 projects. And we're really excited to be able to bring that option into scoring, into additional question types throughout your project as well. So when you apply segmentation, you'll additionally have the option to add that conditional data display. So lots of ways to put together your perfect canvas that has your 360 report for all of your team members. Remember too, we're looking at that report level segmentation, response level segmentation as well too, so that here you can say, I want to see just this one employee, or I want to see reports for all of my employees. Again, not focusing on that, it's already been live, but enhancing that functionality by adding a cover slide and inserting additional slides as well. So really useful if you want to have that nice branding, the right logo on the front, make everything look just the way that you like it to, adding in those additional slides of narrative, giving some explanation of the study and its purpose or timing, everything that you want to have in place so that your perfect report is all set up on that canvas by the time that you are ready to do that segmentation, the report level segmentation. Each employee or each group will be able to have their own specific report, depending on the breakdown that you're looking for. So a huge time saver, of course, combined with PDF means that your reports should be ready to go, as we say, in no time. Moving on to CX, just a few points to highlight here. There's a long list, but I just pulled out a few. Top one on this list definitely is predictive driver analysis. So the idea is, of course, we know that we're trying to improve all of our CX metrics, all of those customer experience metrics like customer satisfaction, net promoter score, customer effort score, all of those high-level things that we want to measure to show great success, of course. And the way that we're looking at measuring our potential impact is on drivers. So what are the things, what are the variables that we can potentially control to improve our overall CX metrics? So in my example, can we improve service? Can we improve timeliness? Unfortunately, it looks like timeliness was pretty low. If we move it up, if we see improvement on timeliness, meaning we focus our energy and resources doing the best that we can to improve this specific variable, how much of an impact can it potentially have on overall, in this case, customer satisfaction? So this is a great way to, it's a bit like a video game. We are enjoying playing with this one a little bit too, just up and down. Of course, everyone wants the best possible outcome. Everyone wants the best possible CX scores for all of their metrics, but we know we have limited time and resources, and we need to prioritize the areas that will have the greatest impact. This is a really cool way to bring to life some of what we've seen over time in that key driver analysis report, even the key driver analysis on the dashboard as well too. So lots of cool stuff. Very excited to be, predicting the future at this point, and of course moving forward. Who knows what we'll think of next? Another big piece to highlight too is new release, for example. What is it that's bringing all of this interesting stuff? What is it that's boosting our customer satisfaction? One of the great ways to be able to track this is to look back on what were some of the milestones that have happened? What are some of the events that have happened in the life of this company? So, for example, you might say, oh, why did everything start to look better in beginning of 2020 after, in terms of customer satisfaction? It's because there was a new release, or perhaps there was a new process put in place, or a new product was launched. Any of those different pieces, for example, you might like to be able to see what impact did they have on the variables that we're tracking. So on these CX metrics, is there an impact of these milestones on the trends that we see? And in this case, it's pretty straightforward. There's a pretty good connection, correlation, not causation. Of course, there's two different things as well, but it's pretty nice to see fairly close to, on this example, after the new release, there was improved customer satisfaction. So it gives us a chance to be able to put things in context a little bit. You also see improvements for working with some of your existing CX projects, like being able to tag questions as follow-up questions, even things that were existing text box questions, so a little bit more getting that text analysis report section on the CX dashboard, as well as applying tags in bulk as well, if you'd like to apply them to, for example, all metrics and drivers in a particular project. So big time savers there as well. And we'll just add one more thing in there, especially when we're talking about a trend over time, being able to add metadata to your imports, to the files that you're importing. Of course, you've always been able to add, is there identify, in this case, header, unique column. Yes, of course, that's useful information. Here you've been able to match all of the data, all of the answers that you've been collecting, whether offline or in some other project that you'd like to merge in. But now that idea of adding, you can see on the bottom of this list, participation start date and time, end date and time, participation status, all of that great information that we would like to be able to track, especially when we're looking at CX, especially when we're looking at importing, for example, historical data. We'd like to be able to see what are those trends over time. So later we can come in and say, what was happening before this date and after that date? What was happening for this group before and after this date? So the more information that we have in there, the more easily able we are to segment even by metadata, not just answer options, but by metadata like time of participation. And of course, frankly, the cooler it looks on your CX dashboard. We'd love to see that trend, and it's not so interesting just to see a dot of information. We're always interested in what's going up, what's going down, and what can we do to improve. So this is a very short conversation today about some of the things that are involved in SoGoSurvey version 28.0. But thanks for joining. Hope this has been inspiring to you to get a little curious about what's going on in your own account. So do check it out. Do reach out to us if you have questions, of course, too. And do join a live session so you can bring those questions to us directly. Again, thanks so much for joining, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.